I wanted to move on for all of the great information about relationships and how to begin them and
Mm-hmm.
how to grow them. What I find interesting about that is it still leads people to a common question about how to repair existing business relationships that have been damaged in some way. Are there
Mm-hmm.
one or two key strategies that you can share for how to undertake the repair of a damaged relationship?
Well, we look at relationships in terms of a process. We actually have a model called the relational ladder. And the relational ladder, you go from being an acquaintance to what we call a professional peer to ultimately a handful of relationships becoming respected advisors. And as you go through this process, there's 5 steps. And the first is launching the relationship. You mentioned it earlier, establishing common ground. Once you're able to do that, the relationship transitions into more of a mutual relationship because there's a chance you're going to do some things together. You might make some commitments to the relationship. The other person might make some commitments to the relationship. Now you're starting to have peer level behavior. And that's where you get a chance to display integrity and trust. Great relationships at that level also use each other's time wisely. That's the third rung, using time purposefully. And I'll stop there on the ladder to get to your question. At some point, a ladder, you can fall off a ladder. And we use the ladder as a model because you can slide down in a business or a personal relationship. And usually it's because of integrity. Usually someone fell out on the integrity side. And the challenging thing is sometimes the person's company is out of integrity, but the person themselves, they're not out of integrity with the other human being they're working with. Maybe there was a price increase that management decided to just do at the end of the year, and there was no forewarning. Well, the person representing that company, if they have a strong relationship, then they'll weather that storm. But if there's been a history of behavior that's not trustworthy, then that person's going to fall off the ladder, which gets us back to the initial question. One of the ways to try to rebuild trust is to realize I'm off the ladder. I have to get back to the first rung of the ladder. And that's all about becoming credible again. And to become credible, we also suggest that you authentically address the issue. Andrew, I understand that our company did some things with prices that you did not expect, and I suspect you believe I knew about it before, and I didn't give you a heads up on that. I'd like to ask you some questions and try to rebuild our relationship. I know we're at a very risky point here in that, and I know I've got to do everything I can to try to recover. And at that point, Andrew has to decide whether he still wants to work with Ed or not. If Andrew is willing and open, and Ed's exhibited some good intentions around the relationship in the past, he'll probably allow him to do that. If Andrew doesn't let Ed do that, then it's probably a good point for Ed to try to exit the business relationship and bring a colleague in to try to start things over again.